Hey everybody, it's Mordecai, and in today's video, I wanted to discuss something that's been rattling around in my brain for about 5 or 6 months now. And, whether or not you want to admit it, everyone, everyone is in at least one fandom. Whether we love them, we love to hate them, maybe we hate them in some circumstances, but, we're in at least one. And, it's fine, people want to belong to a community, and even if that's online, people are going to want to find people that they can relate to and find a common ground in with people. Motherfucking Mordecai, stop repeating stuff like people stuff. Oh my god. Hey everybody, it's Mordecai, and in today's video, I wanted to discuss something. Maybe this will help, I don't know. Hey everybody, it's Mordecai, and in today's video, I wanted to discuss something that's been rattling around in my head for about 5 or 6 months now. So, whether or not we want to admit it, we are in a fandom. Whether we love them, we hate them, we love to hate them, depending on what your stance is in those communities. We want to belong to a community, and we want to find people that we click with, and that we're able to agree with on some things, instead of disagreeing, like a lot of the internet seems to be nowadays. And, from personal experience, I've been in a lot of fandoms over the years. And, right now, I tend to write for like 4 or 5 fandoms, like, at a time, but, I can argue that in the YouTube community, there's, like, sub-fandoms, because of, like, the different YouTubers that I watch and different ships that come with those people, like with the Sandersides. Like, that's a whole sub-fandom in the fandom, so, yeah, I kind of, add those on. But, for the main fandoms, I, like, write 4 or 5 right now. And, before I started writing for the YouTube community, for Impractical Jokers, Steven Universe, I was recommended by a friend of mine at the time, because we were both in a fandom, technically, and she was like, hey, I think you would be really good at writing fanfiction, why don't you give it a try? And recommended me to Archive of Our Own, which I am an enthusiast for. I love it, and, it was like 5 or 6 years ago. But, I wrote my first fic for Real News fandom, or Real Person News. That fandom. It's for people who are, like, in the newscasting world. But it's just real person fiction. And, yeah, that was my first taste of it. Because I used to ship, Anderson Cooper and his then boyfriend. I don't really anymore, just because I'm not interested in, I thought they were cute, I loved them even, like, when I wasn't in that fandom, but, like, I stopped watching the news regularly, sorry, that's a hard word to say. Anyway, I stopped watching the news because of, political stuff, and all of that, it was negatively affecting my mental health, so I had to take a step back, and that's fine. But yeah, I wrote for that, and then I think I took, like, either it was a 6-month or a year hiatus, and then I got into Supernatural from one of my best friends, so I was in that fandom for a while. And in the beginning, I did ship, I shipped Destiel. I don't anymore, yeah, because of reasons. I can get into that in a different video, but not in this one, so anyway, I have written some Deancasts for a friend of mine at the time. We went to high school together, and, like, I wrote a few for her. Like, I didn't completely, like, loathe it or anything. Like, it just wasn't for me. I would still write it, though. And then I just explored different ships in that fandom. So, like, a sub-fandom kind of thing, like I was talking about in the beginning. And that was my life for about 2 years. Yeah, like, another friend of mine, a few have like encouraged my writing. We're not really friends anymore, which it sucks, but that's how the world goes. She recommended that like I write supernatural RPF, real person fiction, which I did, and I liked that for a bit as well. And continue doing that up until about 2-ish years ago, give or take. Just because season 12 of Supernatural really did not gel with me well. And I haven't watched it since, except for like 1 or 2 episodes with the newer seasons. But yeah, kind of fell out of that fandom. Like, you can't really escape a fandom. I'll get back into that more towards the end because it ties into what I'm trying to get to. But don't really write for them anymore, even though I do have a fic idea that's just kind of sitting there that has to do with a ship in the Supernatural fandom. So then after that was... I didn't mean to roll my eyes, that was me thinking. Sorry, I'm not trying to be sassy. Impractical Jokers, that was the next one, I believe. Yeah, my mom was like, hey, there's this show, and explained that, like, you know, 4 best friends doing this hidden camera show. I'm like, okay, cool, sounds neat. And I wasn't really watching anything at the time, so I got into it. And I'm very easily, like, very easily able to ship things, so it wasn't long until after I got into the Impractical Jokers fandom that I started writing fics for them as well. And, you know, that's real person fiction. I'm pretty good at writing it, I think, because I've had that experience, and I'm really thankful because there's a Tumblr blog on Tumblr, a Tumblr page that is an Impractical Jokers, and like they post updates and stuff that I was able to submit my fics to, and I gained a pretty large following. I don't know, like, yeah, I'd say that. But you know, inevitably, I just kind of got away from that fandom as well, because at the time last year I wasn't really watching TV a lot because like I moved 3 different times. I didn't really have time to watch television shows, and I was just watching YouTube. I mean, I've been doing that for like 4 years now. But like, it was a balance in the beginning between YouTube and television. Now it's just mostly YouTube. And so yeah, kind of backed away from that. And last year is when I posted my last IJ fic, I believe, during the little, like, between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve that I did, which was Stray Cat Strut, I believe is the name of it. I'll link it in the description below. It was an alright fic. I could have definitely done more with it. But, yeah, it's been 5-6 months now. So yeah. And then during that, I also started writing for Steven Universe and the YouTube community. I still write for the YouTube community very heavily. I just uploaded a fic last night, around 11. I'll link to that as well. Because it's part of the May fics. It's Filthy Pride that I talked about in my earlier video. The one before I talked about my mom accepting my name and pronouns. But yeah, let's see. And now I mainly just write for the YouTube community. Just because, like, I'm so involved with the YouTube community, and then I have a friend who, she wants to collab with me a lot, and we watch a lot of the same YouTubers, and a few of our YouTubers, like, they're friends with each other, so it's really easy to, like, collab on that. And, the reason I brought up, like, the IJ community, of course, it's part of, like, my fic history, and where I am now as a writer. And I mentioned you can't really escape fandoms. I highly believe that, not hardly, or I wouldn't be talking about that. I highly believe in the fact that you cannot completely escape a fandom, because it will always be there in a sense. Like, you'll always feel some sort of passion towards it, whether it be fleeting or like nostalgia. Like, for instance, I was a huge fan of Doctor Who. Still love it. And like, I don't really watch it as much as I used to. Haven't gone back and watched like old episodes I love to binge and love to rewatch. But my blankie that my ex-friend just dubbed is my TARDIS blanket, which is the time machine used in Doctor Who. And I also have a pillow that's the same. So yeah, you can't really completely escape it, because there's going to be a part of you that still wants to cling to the old stuff. And I mean, sometimes, like I'm trying to do, you can reintegrate yourself into that fandom. I'm trying to do that with Supernatural since it's ending soon. And I say that because I feel like with Impractical Jokers, that's what I'm doing right now. It's like I'm in this kind of limbo where I'm like, I want to move on from writing those fics, but at the same time, I'm just like, I want to go back and like relive the good parts of when I was an active writer in that fandom. And I don't know, it sounds kind of narcissistic because like I was getting exposure, but I mean, at the same time, it's just, I like writing for other people and myself. Like, there's kind of a balance between that. But yeah, and I say that because this is really emotional to say. Like, I've been debating this for a while. After the one that I'm gonna write in June, Burning at Both Ends, the last chapter of New Girl, which is a series that I wrote because I wanted some trans representation in the IJ fandom. And there's another, sorry, that's my dog in the background. Cat's in the cradle. It took me a minute because of Haley's barking. But after those, and after New Girl's final chapter, I'm gonna step away from writing Impractical Jokers fics. Just not entirely, but I don't have any new ideas. And some ideas that people have recommended to me, I've thought about doing, but I can't do those kinds of fics, I guess. Or when I've tried to, I haven't wanted to complete them. And, yeah. It's kind of a step in moving on. So, yeah. I love the guys. I love the show. I need to move forward, you know? So, if you are an enthusiast of the IJ fics that I've written, because I know I have a few people like that, I hope you have enjoyed the ride up to this point, and you understand why I'm taking a step back. Like, as I said, I'm not gonna be completely gone from it, but I'm not gonna be writing as much. Well, I haven't been writing as much for them anyway, but it's gonna be even less of me writing for them. So, this is not my swan song, but it's getting to that point. Just for me to grow as a writer and a person. So, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hope you are all staying safe. Hope you're having a good day, evening, night, wherever you are. And yeah, see ya.